through just some quick things. A lot of this was in the email that I sent out a day or two ago, but I just want to hit it again just to make sure we're all on the same page. So the third set of study sessions will start on February 7th. They'll run the same way as the others did: Tuesday at 4, Thursday at 7, Saturday at 10. Just keep doing whatever you can to encourage your kids to get there. I will resend the Zoom links. They'll be the same as the ones you've already had, but I'll resend those Zoom links. I'll send the link to the student handout, all that stuff, so you have it handy. And I'll send that about a week before the sessions start. Something that several people have asked me about. Some of you are teaching on a block, like a semesterized block, where you only have your students first semester or second semester. So I promised, at least for the first 2 sets of study sessions, we would have a makeup day so that your kids could participate. So here are those dates. And this is for study session 1, just the very first study session of the year. For physics, that's going to be on Thursday, February 9th at 7 o'clock. So session 3 will also be going on, but if your kid needs to go to session 1, they can go to 1 or 3, whichever one they want to go to. Same is true for biology and chemistry. And the APE session is going to be on Tuesday, February 7th at 4 o'clock. And by the way, I'll send out this PowerPoint or Google Slides deck, so you have copies of this. You don't need to write all this down. These makeup sessions will have different Zoom links than the normal sessions, so I will send you those links. They're going to be they're a one-shot affair, so there's only going to be one makeup. They won't be on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. It'll be a one-day event, because I don't anticipate a lot of kids being there, because there's only a handful of you guys that are on a semesterized block. If you're not on a semesterized block and you happen to have a kid who missed the first one and they want to attend, or a kid that just likes to go to everything, they're more than welcome to come. I'll send out the link to these to everybody. Just like always, go ahead and add your attendance in the DRS. And just make sure you add, if you know kids come to this for session 1, make sure you put them in session 1. Any questions about the makeup sessions?
Nope.
I'll schedule session 2. It'll probably be during the next week of study sessions, which is the week of February or March the 7th. I haven't set those dates in stone yet, but that's probably when that will happen. So just be on the lookout for that. Before I talk about mock readings, let's talk about the other part of the study session. So the APpalooza is the in-person study session. This year, that's going to be on April 22nd. It's going to run from 8:30 to 12:45. We're not going to provide lunch this year. We're going to provide like a mid-morning snack. There's going to be 2 15-minute breaks. We'll have snacks and drinks available during both of those breaks. The session is going to be held at 7 different places. I'm about to show you what those are. If the session is not at your school, we'll reimburse your school for the cost of a bus to get your kids to the session. A lot of people just opt for their kids to drive or for their parents to drop them off. That's fine. But if your school wants to take a bus, we'll be more than happy to pay for that. Go ahead and share the date with your kids. Let them know it's a priority. But we ask for you to be there and your kids. And I've got a link here to the side assignments. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. Whoops. Bear with me for a second while I get it pulled up. Too many tabs open here. Give me just a second. All right, so you'll have to go through and find your school in the list here. But notice the sites are Hartselle High School and Geraldine. So those are the 2 sites in the north. Hewitt Trussell, kind of in the middle, Birmingham area. Benjamin Russell, the Auburn, Montgomery area. Demopolis, sort of the middle of the state, I guess, maybe a little bit to the west of Montgomery. Charles Henderson going a little bit south, and then Alberta, way south. But we've got all the schools that are listed at each site underneath here. And I'll send you, like I said, I'll send you this PowerPoint with the link in it. I did see Joanna ask specifically where her kids were going to be. So the Austin folks will be at Hartselle. And if anybody else just wants to know right now, unmute and let me know, and I'll be glad to tell you.
I got a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So was I already supposed to know that this event would be held at my high school, Benjamin Russell?
I think it just got finalized today, Brent. Our folks were talked with your principal or your assistant principal today.
All right. I just making sure because we're kind of in the dark on a lot of things.
Yeah, so I know it was just finalized today. And there won't be anything for you to do as far as it being at your school. Your AP coordinator will have a couple of small things to do, but our folks will handle just about everything.
All right.
It's actually a good thing for it to be at your school. That way your kids don't have to go anywhere. They'll be at home.
Agreed. Appreciate it.
Yep. Other questions? I'll mention one other quick thing about the APpalooza if you guys haven't been before.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Should I bring my AP coordinator or?
No.
Okay.
Just teacher and students. Since Ben Russell, where Brent is from, that's one of the host sites. So the AP coordinator sort of runs the event at the local site. That's the only reason his coordinator needs to be there. What I was saying about the event, so there'll be 3 sessions during that day between 8:30 and 12:45. There'll be sessions in all the AP subjects that we support. So it won't just be biology or chemistry or physics. There'll be language sessions going on. There'll be Spanish sessions going on, history. Your kids can opt not only to go to the sessions for your subject, but if they need to go to a session for world history, they can do that during that day as well. We'll send you a complete schedule 3 or 4 weeks before the event so that you can give a copy to the kid and they can sort of plan out, hey, session 1, I want to go to this biology session. Session 2, I want to go to this language session. Session 3, I need to go to this one in economics or whatever the case may be. Each session is going to run about 1 hour and 15 minutes. We'll have handouts for kids, good instructors. And like I said, we'll feed them and give them a drink and a snack at least and get them along their way. Other questions about this before I go to something else? There'll be a lot more details coming. Let's talk about the mock exam and the mock reading then if we don't have any more questions. So our mock readings are scheduled for April. They're going to be at Faulkner University in Birmingham, same place we had our AP conference. We do ask that all of our ITIP and program teachers participate if at all possible. For chemistry, physics 1, and environmental science, those readings are on April the 11th. And then the biology reading and the physics C mechanics reading, those are scheduled for April the 18th. Let's see, I can only think of a couple of you that are teaching 2 AP sciences. I know, for example, Carrie Watson, you're teaching 2. You are more than welcome to come to both of those days. Or if you just can't make both of those days work, pick the one you need to come to the most and come to that one. There might be a handful of you that are teaching this subjects that are the readings are happening on the same day. For example, I know there's a couple people who are teaching AP Chem and AP Physics. You can jump back and forth between those events during the day if you want to. Or if you feel like you're way better at chemistry than you are at physics, then maybe you want to stay in physics that whole day just to get some more background information. But we're very flexible about the way we let you move between subjects. So whatever is best for you, that's what we want you to do.
Matt,
Yes.
I'm one of those people. I'm teaching AP Chem and AP Physics. Can we have a copy of the rubric if we're for both of them? Because we're not going to be able to be in both places at one time.
Oh yeah. So those are already posted. And
Okay.
I'm about to get to that and tell you where they're at. So you can get those right now.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yep. So the registration for the mock readings hasn't opened yet. It'll probably open within the next week or two. And as soon as they get that all built out, I will send out that link. We're going to send hard copies of a mock exam for each of your students. You'll get those toward the end of February. Wait as late as you can to give the exam. We have a lot of people last year who waited until like, April the 10th to give it. And the reading was on April 13th last year. The more time your kids have to get through the content, the better. Wait as late as you can. It's up to you and your school to schedule when you want to give that mock exam. Some people opt to do it on a Saturday. Some opt to do it after school. Some opt to do it during the school day. Whatever works at your school, that's up to you and your principal. In a perfect world, it's best to give it in one setting so that it's like the exam, but I know that's not always possible. So just give the exam, do the best you can, and we will roll for it. We'll roll with it from there. In the past, up until last year, after you gave the exam, you had to mail in your FRQ booklets so that we had those before the event. We decided last year that was more trouble than it was worth. So you're going to bring your student booklets with you when you come to the reading, and we'll sort them out when you get there that morning. So that will give you more time to give the exam. You don't have to worry about mail time and all that kind of stuff. Bring them with you the day of the exam. We'll sort them as you come in and sign in. Let's see. Before I go there. So all the mock exams are now posted in Canvas. If you go in Canvas to files, there's a subfolder called mock exam materials. And then they're organized by year inside that subfolder. So just go to the 2023 subfolder and you'll find a multiple choice section and a key to go with it. You'll find an FRQ section and the rubric to go with it. And there's also a spreadsheet in there that will help you calculate your overall score for each of your kids. So everything you should need for the mock is already posted in Canvas and should be ready to go. If you have any trouble accessing that, just let me know. Here are the exams we're using this year. So for AP Bio, we pretty much changed exams for all subjects this year. I like to change them up every 2 or 3 years. For AP Biology this year, we're using practice exam number 2. That's available in AP Classroom. It's a full-length exam that they posted up a year or 2 ago. For physics, something very similar, practice exam 1 this year. For environmental science, we're doing something a little bit different. We're using practice exam 1 for the multiple choice, but we're using the 2022 set 2 FRQs. And the reason for that is those practice exam FRQs were just not very good on the practice test. So we decided to use a better set of FRQs. For AP Chem, we're doing the 2021 international exam. You can find that in AP Classroom. You just have to look pretty hard for it. For Physics C, the 2019 released exam. And for Physics 2, the 2016 international exam. And again, all those are in Canvas under files and mock exam materials. All right, so one other thing, to do the reading, we have to have student samples to do the training, the reader training for. We always try to use our own students' papers as training papers. So to be able to get this all together, I really need a couple of sets of papers by March 15th. If you would be willing to give the exam by March 15th, let me know. I'll need probably 2 classes worth of exams in each class. so that I can sort them and get them scanned into the computer and get them sent to the reading leaders. That's a week or two job to be able to pick out samples and get copies made and all that kind of stuff. So if you're willing to give it early, maybe you had your class first semester and it's already done, let me know, because like I said, I'm going to need several papers for sample papers. Any questions about the mock so far? Nope.
Hey, Matt, I've got a question. If we're teaching both chem and physics, can we bring exams to be graded for both, or are we limited?
Yes, ma'am, you can.
Okay.
Bring them both, and then you can jump back and forth during the reading, or you can stay in one all day. It's up to you.
Gotcha.
All right, so the last couple of quick things. So summer training, one of the requirements of our program is that you go to summer training during each of your 3 years in the program. Now, if you're in cohort 13, you're rolling off. We would still love for you to come to an APSI this summer if you're in cohort 13, but there's a fee associated with it if you do, because we're rolling off. And that fee would be paid to Alabama or Auburn. The way the science APSIs are supposed to work is they're supposed to alternate from year to year between the University of Alabama and Auburn. Auburn doesn't always play fair, and sometimes they decide to offer them even during Alabama's year, which it sounds like they're going to do this year. But since they've been at Auburn for the last 3 years because of COVID, I'm trying to push everybody who can to go to Alabama this year. The Alabama APSIs are June 20th to 23rd. They're offering everything in science except for Physics C or Physics 2. And I'll talk to you guys who that applies to about what we can do for you guys later on. It looks like Auburn is also going to offer some sciences. So if you can't go to Alabama during the June 20th to 23rd, Auburn's week is July 17th through 20th. I'm afraid some of those courses won't make at Auburn because I'm pushing people to go to Alabama if at all possible. But right now they're available, and hopefully they'll make. One thing that's new this year, unless you're teaching a course like Physics C or Physics 2 where we don't have an in-state APSI, the virtual APSIs won't count for your yearly training requirement. We heard a lot of horror stories about APSIs over the last couple of years and how bad the virtual ones were. Not only were a lot of them boring, but they just didn't do the job they were supposed to do. So unless there are extenuating circumstances, the virtual ones won't count. Now, if for some reason you can't go to either one of these in-person dates, we will pay for you to go to an out-of-state location. We'll pay for their registration up to the cost that Alabama and Auburn charge, which is between $750 and $800, I think. Your school would still be in charge of paying for travel or hotel, that kind of stuff, but we will pay for the course if you can't make it to one of these dates. Does that make sense? Any questions?
Okay, so since I am teaching, we'll be teaching AP Physics with algebra for the first time.
Yes, ma'am.
I guess you say you'll send some.
Oh yeah, so you went for AP Chemistry last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what might be better for you, Jacqueline, is to actually come to our summer intensive, the same thing you went to last year,
Mm-hmm.
And just come for physics. And that's a different set of dates. And I don't want to quote that date off the top of my head and tell you the wrong thing, but I will email you when this is over, those dates.
Okay.
That's going to be at Hewitt Trustful.
Ooh.
And it's
Good.
it's in June.
Okay.
But I'm going to look up the date before I tell you what it is, because I don't want to tell you wrong.
Okay. So that'll still count as.
Yes, ma'am.
Exactly.
That's for first year people in our program.
Okay.
But since this will be your first year ever teaching Physics 1, I think that'd probably be the best thing for you to do is come to that.
That way. Now, don't worry about Alabama.
Yeah, no, ma'am. No,
Okay.
ma'am.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
we're not going to ask you to go to more than 1 week.
Thank you.
That's enough